Good evening to all. And first of all, I'm very, very grateful to all speakers of this day because we have started at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's 5 o'clock tonight, and still there are some people here. We had wonderful speeches from the speakers. It's fascinating. And I think also it's really great that we can have this kind of conference about science and God with people who are materialists and luckily let go, and some other Buddhas. So I think it's really great, and we had really the fascinating say it's wonderful. So as you know, we have written a book with my co-author Bollore here, God, the Science, the Evidence, that my talk will not be about the evidence of the existence of God, because it has still already treated a little bit tonight. It will be rather a short talk about a logic question. Does a common boundary exist between physics and metaphysics? But first of all, I would like to apologize a little bit for my French accent, that you have understood. John Stone, which I want also to thank you, is really the organizer of everything. He has done a wonderful job. And we are the last one, Olivier and I, and there is a good reason for that, is that he was really afraid with our accents that half of the room quit and run away. So we said, Michel and Olivier will be the last one, so if people quit, it doesn't matter too much. So thank you, Jean, you did a really wonderful conference. So it's a widespread idea that there is no evidence for the existence of God, and many people had, is there were evidence for the existence of God, we would know it, that's very common. But some people have gone further, especially scientists, and they said not only there is no evidence for the existence of God, but there cannot be, which is something very different. And this idea that there cannot be was a little bit defended, especially by a paleontologist that you know, which is Stephen Jay Gould. And in 1997, he had a theory which is the NOMA, which is an acronym for No Overlapping Magisteria. It's a very simple idea, and it's a good idea, which is that there is a domain of science, science being mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, etc. And there is a domain of God, faith, and religion. So the NOMA has been very popular and compelling for a very long time. And I fully agree that there is a NOMA between the science and religion and faith. But I don't agree on the case of science and the existence of God, because in fact the existence of God, the existence of a creator God, has nothing to do with space and religion. It's just indifferent. It's a fact. In fact, the creator God exists or does not exist. It's a fact. We don't know perhaps completely the answer. Perhaps one day we will know completely the answer, but it's a fact. So as a fact, we have to consider it as a fact. So I agree with the NOMA for faith and religion, but not for. And why? Why do I not agree? It's because, or many people do not agree, it is because in fact, during the 20th centuries, there has been a lot of discoveries which have made that a certain number of questions, I would say 3 questions, which were mostly philosophical or metaphysical, have become scientific ideas. So I would like to give the list of these 3 questions. So 3 questions which are, so it's physics and metaphysics, 3 questions which are metaphysical, which have become scientific. The first question is our universe eternal, or did it have an absolute beginning? That's question number 1. 2, does our universe have an extraordinary and precise and improbable fine-tuning? And if so, because in fact everybody agrees, how can this reality be explained within a materialist framework? And the third question is, can life appear naturally from inanimate matter without a fine-tuning of the universe, which would be even more complex and more fantastic than the fine-tuning that we have cosmology? So these three questions, we are going just to have a short look around on both the character, on both angles, the angle for philosophy and metaphysics and the angle of science. So if we start with the first question, is our universe eternal or at its an absolute beginning? This is a philosophical question. It's a very old question, and nobody has been puzzled by this question for a very long time, because everybody more or less agrees that the universe was eternal. And it's completely linked to a Greek philosopher, Parmenides, who was have a principle 2,500 years ago, exactly 2,500 ago. So Parmenides, 2,500 years ago, said, in Latin, ex nihilo nihil, which means, in English, which you have all understood, from nothing, nothing can come. So today, 99% of all the intellectual scientists and philosophers agree on the Parmenides principle. So it means that if nothing can come out from nothing, there is two possibilities only. Or the universe is eternal, or there is a creator God who is eternal to create it. It's very simple. So everybody agree on that. And you see immediately the consequence, philosophical consequence of it, is that all the materialists, which is a normal belief, a respectable belief, all the materialists have to believe that in a way or another, our universe is eternal. So this question, which is very simple, for centuries, or more than centuries, was not a scientific question at all, because nobody could say anything about the age or the character eternal of the universe. It was impossible. But which is fantastic is that during this last 100 years, then even less, so many discoveries have been made, which have been seen as evidence of the fact that the universe cannot be eternal, or at least it's highly probable that it is, as Earth. So, in fact, this there has been in the last, we are not going to talk of it too long, but in our book we say that there are 7 evidence coming from different fields which shows that our universe cannot be eternal. I go very quickly, so one of you who wants to add more will take the book. So the first one is, we know, is the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics has been invented during the 19th century, and the second principle of thermodynamics is that everything wears out. So it was a big shock for people at that time. Even Einstein, we have been speaking of Einstein just 2 minutes ago, for a long time did not believe in the second principle of thermodynamics because it was too shocking. So the second principle of thermodynamics is that everything wears out. So our universe wears out and it will die. That's the third limit of the universe. And we know that everything which dies has necessarily a beginning. So I'm not going to discuss that. It may both. It's just to mention this first evidence. The second evidence, we can say that thermodynamics is bringing 2 evidence probably of the non-eternity of the universe. The first one is everything wears out, but there is another one, is that the order, the order of the universe is decreasing with time, which means that in the past it was increasing if we go back. But order has probably a maximum, because there cannot be an infinite growing order. So it has probably a limit also. So thermodynamics is probably bringing 2 evidence that our universe cannot be eternal. So after that is coming, we know the expansion of the universe and what we called the Big Bang, and it is one more evidence. We have to wait if we consider that they are real, if they are solid or not. There had been made discoveries to after the Big Bang to say that it was a very serious discovery, because for a long time people thought there could be a big crunch. We all know that the big crunch has been disproved in 1998, I think, and after that many people said that there were multiverses which were sequential, one after the other. As you know, so there had been another discovery in 2003 by three American scientists, Goodboard and Vilentin, who obtained the theorem that the series, an infinite series of universe is possible. So that's a new evidence of this. But there had been some other also discoveries. One is from a mathematician which is Hilbert, which is an important one. And another evidence are the fact that infinity is, so in mathematics still there's infinity is just mathematical concept. In the real world, infinity does not exist. So infinity does not exist, it does not exist also for time. And also we have some philosophical demonstrations that infinity cannot exist also. So if we, none of this evidence are so proof, of course. So we still have, we have like a scale. With two hands in the scale, we have two sides. In one side of the scale, there are several evidence, which are not absolute proof, of course, but are very strong evidence because they are coming from different fields of knowledge. And consequently, because they are coming from different fields of knowledge, they are independent. So independent evidence are stronger than evidence which are linked together. So if we take a scale, on one side, we have 7 evidence that it is very highly improbable that our universe is eternal. And the other side, evidence for the universe to be eternal would be a 0. So after we as a jury knows that, we have to decide ourselves whether we read. But we can say today that at least there is one question which is both metaphysical and scientific, physics and metaphysics, which is a possibility to discuss the existence of God. So the second question, does our universe has extraordinary precise fine-tuning? So everybody agreed today that our universe had a wonderful fine-tuning, and the speakers before have described it very, very well. So the question is, does a materialistic solution exist to explain that? And we know that this solution, there is only one, probably, is that the existence of multiverse. But multiverse, there is a problem with multiverse, is that there is nothing just. For the moment, multiverse are completely hypothetical. And the last question, which is a metaphysical question, a philosophical question, and a scientific question, is the leap from inert matter to life. So we know that life exists because we are here, and we know that matter exists, and if God does not exist, if there is no creator God, it must have a natural process to go from inert matter to life. And personally, I believe that there is, and really also, we both believe that there is another fine-tuning which has made that possible. But that other fine-tuning to make life possible, it means that it's not a leap between inert matter and life. It is a cadre. It's something huge. It's something fantastic. So at a point, such that for a long time, people thought that the leap from matter to life was an easy leap. And now there is not even a theory. There is not a plausible theory it has happened, but we don't know. We were discussing that yesterday evening with the type. It was wonderful, very interesting. The question has been sent to an extragalactic origin. So, just the matter you see, I want to discuss. I don't want to discuss is this evidence are compelling, is this evidence are going to make that people are convinced that there is a creator God. It is just to say, today, the norma for the existence of God, it's over. There is an overlap between physics and metaphysics. And this overlap of physics and metaphysics, it is this overlap. There are three questions at least in this overlap, which are the dimension of the universe, the fine-tuning, and the appearance of life. Well, alors, it's very interesting all this, that the existence of a creator God is both a question of physics and metaphysics, and probably we could hope to advance faster, but we have to know that there are some obstacles on the road. The first obstacle on this road is that the question of the existence of a creator God is also, unfortunately, a passionate question, a terribly passionate question. And this is why it's a difficult one. And just to put our fingers on the fact that it is a difficult one is, I will just give a small analogy, is I give you two questions, which are almost the same. Do Martians exist? Do a creator God exist? If you realize, in fact, these two questions are almost the same. It's a question to know if a person we have never seen exists or not. In one case, a Martian. In the other case, a creator God. It's very interesting because if we start now to speak of the Martians, it's very easy, pleasant, friendly. We are sending rockets, we are sending satellites, and countries are spending a lot of money to discuss and to know, to find an answer to know if the Martian exists. And there is no dispute, neither. And it's not the same for a creator God. It's just to see that this question of a creator God is a passionate question. It's important to know. The reason is very easy. It's because everybody understands that the creator God, when we don't go with the original phase, for many people, there is a risk of losing a part of their freedom. So it's a threat. They feel it like a threat to their freedom. They feel it like a cross of judgment on their morality. And so people have a difficulties. Another difficulty that we have as scientists, if I may say, that many of us want to keep science pure and to have a science outside of any passionate questions. And I fully agree personally with that. We don't want science to be going into passionate debates. And so when it says science is science, we want to keep it pure and away from passionate questions. However, this is true. However, science has made a lot of good for humanity. We just have to think of medicine and vaccines and all the progress we have. Science to science, it's wonderful. So truth is also something very important for us. So if science can bring evidence for a creator God, it could be very important. Personally, I'm a Christian. But if science was bringing one day evidence that God doesn't exist, I would like to know it, because I don't want to live illusion, and I don't want also to spend my time with useless practice. So it will be important. Conversely, at the opposite, if there is some evidences in the future, science can find more important evidence in the existence of God. I think it would be extremely good for humanity, because for all of us, because we just want to know, and we want to know what is our origin. What is our origin? Is our origin only chance and necessity, which is the answer of the materialism, or is it much more? Well, that's the real question. So I hope that science will continue. We are here for that. I hope that science will continue in all these kind of debates and conferences, and that perhaps one day more evidence to bring a real answer to this question perhaps will happen one day. So thank you very much.